Welcome to Fulgur channel, your source for the latest news and updates on global events. Today, we're bringing you a breaking story that has sent shockwaves across the world. 2 U.S. aircraft carriers have been urgently deployed to the Philippines, and it all started with a dramatic collision between Chinese vessels and a Philippine Coast Guard ship. In this video, we'll delve deep into the details of this incident. The South China Sea, a region rich in resources, has been a hotbed of territorial disputes for years. The tension between China and neighboring nations, particularly the Philippines, has escalated significantly. And it was in the midst of this ongoing tension that a remarkable and concerning incident unfolded. Chinese vessels and a Philippine Coast Guard ship were involved in a collision that has set the stage for a major global development. China and the Philippines have traded blame over 2 collisions in the South China Sea involving their vessels, the latest in a series of maritime confrontations in the disputed waterway. The incidents occurred near Second Thomas Shoal in the Spratly Islands, where Beijing regularly deploys its vessels to assert its claims over almost the entire sea. China's Coast Guard said there had been a slight collision between one of its ships and a Philippine vessel carrying supplies to a World War I-era transport ship that was being used as an outpost on the shoal. The Coast Guard said the collision occurred while it was lawfully blocking the boat from transporting illegal construction materials to the warship. Manila said it condemned, in the strongest degree, the dangerous blocking maneuvers of the Chinese vessel. A Philippine Coast Guard vessel escorting the routine resupply mission was also bumped by a Chinese maritime militia vessel, Manila's task force for the West Philippine Sea said. However, China said the Philippine boat had deliberately stirred up trouble by reversing in a premeditated manner into a Chinese fishing vessel. A video released by the Philippine military showed the Chinese Coast Guard ship's bow and the stern of the resupply vessel touching briefly. It is not clear if the vessel suffered any damage. The 2 countries have had numerous run-ins in areas of the South China Sea in recent months, especially the disputed Second Thomas Shoal, part of the Spratly Islands. In August, China Coast Guard vessels used water cannon against a Philippine resupply mission, preventing one of the boats from delivering its cargo. Beijing claims sovereignty over almost the entire South China Sea, including parts of the exclusive economic zones of the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and Indonesia. An arbitration panel in The Hague in 2016 ruled that China's claims had no legal basis. Beijing has rejected the ruling as null and void and having no binding force. China and the Philippines traded accusations over a collision in disputed waters of the South China Sea as Chinese vessels blocked Philippine boats supplying forces there on Sunday, in the latest of a series of maritime confrontations. The 2 countries have had numerous run-ins in the South China Sea in recent months, especially near the disputed Second Thomas Shoal, part of the Spratly Islands. The Philippines has sent supplies to troops stationed on a rusted World War II-era transport ship used as an outpost on the shoal, prompting China's Coast Guard to repeatedly deploy vessels to block the resupply missions. In the incident early on Sunday, China's Coast Guard said there had been a slight collision between one of its ships and the Philippine boat, while the Coast Guard was lawfully blocking the boat from transporting illegal construction materials to the warship. Manila responded by condemning in the strongest degree the dangerous blocking maneuvers of the Chinese vessel. China's dangerous, irresponsible, and illegal actions were in violation of Philippine sovereignty, sovereign rights and jurisdiction, Manila's task force for the West Philippine Sea said in a statement. Beijing claims sovereignty over almost the entire South China Sea, including parts of the exclusive economic zones of Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, and Vietnam. The Permanent Court of Arbitration in 2016 said China's claims had no legal basis. China has maintained great restraint and patience on the issue, the Chinese Foreign Ministry said on Sunday. China has long maintained intensive communication with Manila, which has, however, disregarded China's goodwill, the ministry said in a statement. China will continue to take the necessary measures in accordance with domestic and international laws to safeguard its territorial sovereignty, it said. The U.S. sided with the Philippines, offering support to its ally. In a statement on Sunday, the U.S. State Department said China's actions amounted to repeated harassment in the South China Sea and that they were dangerous and unlawful. The Canadian and Japanese embassies in Manila also expressed support for the Philippines and alarm over the collision. The European Union's ambassador, Luc Veron, said, "These incidents, their repetition and intensification are dangerous and very disturbing." Manila's relations with Beijing have soured under President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., who has strengthened military engagement with Washington since taking office last year. The Pentagon said in May it would protect the Philippines if its Coast Guard came under attack anywhere in the South China Sea. Last week, the Philippine military demanded China stop its dangerous and offensive actions after a Chinese Navy ship shadowed and attempted to cut off a Philippine Navy vessel conducting a resupply mission. Sunday's collision occurred during a routine resupply mission of a boat contracted by the Philippine Armed Forces, Manila said. In another incident during the same resupply mission, it said a Philippine Coast Guard vessel's port side was bumped by a Chinese maritime militia vessel. The actions of the Chinese Coast Guard vessel imperiled the safety of the crew of the Philippine boat, the task force said. China's Coast Guard said in a statement the Philippine vessel had ignored repeated warnings, crossed the bow of the Chinese ship and deliberately provoked trouble, causing the collision. The Philippines' behavior seriously violates the international rules on avoiding collisions at sea and threatens the navigation safety of our vessels, the Coast Guard said. Manila grounded the BRP Sierra Madre warship in 1999 as part of its sovereignty claim to the Second Thomas Shoal, which lies within its 200-mile exclusive economic zone. In response to this incident, the United States, a long-standing ally of the Philippines, has taken a significant step. Thank you for watching this crucial update on the escalating tensions in the South China Sea. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to Fulgur channel for more in-depth analyses and breaking news from around the world. Stay tuned for our next video, where we'll continue to follow this developing story and its global impact.